Success doesn't come to those who wait. It comes to those who dare. In a world where comfort zones are the enemy of progress, one truth remains: no risk, no reward. Life doesn't hand out trophies for playing it safe. Every great success story you've ever heard started with one thing: risk. In this video, we're diving deep into the truth behind the phrase, no risk, no reward. Whether you're chasing your dreams, starting a business, or making a bold life move, one thing is certain: without stepping out of your comfort zone, you'll never know what's possible. Risk, at its core, means stepping into the unknown. It's choosing to move forward without knowing exactly how things will turn out. It's that moment where your heart beats faster, your palms get sweaty, and your mind asks, what if this doesn't work? But here's the honest truth. Every opportunity in life carries some level of risk. Whether you're starting a new job, falling in love, investing money, or even standing up for yourself, there's always a possibility that things might not go the way you hoped. But on the flip side, there's also the possibility that they might go even better than you ever imagined. So risk is not just about danger. It's about possibility. It's about growth. It's about stretching beyond where you are right now. Think of risk as a bridge, the only way to get from where you are to where you want to be. When people hear the word risk, they often think of money. But let's break it down. Risk comes in different forms, and you've probably taken many without even realizing it. Financial risk. This is the most obvious one. It includes investing money into a business, taking out a loan, or quitting a steady job to chase a dream. It's scary, but every financial breakthrough begins with someone daring to trust the unknown. Emotional risk. Opening your heart to love, forgiving someone, or expressing your true feelings. Emotional risks are often the hardest because the wounds are invisible, but the rewards? Deep connection, healing, and peace. Social risk. This is about how others perceive you. Starting a YouTube channel, speaking up in public, or choosing a path that doesn't fit into society's norm. It's risky because people might judge or misunderstand you, but staying silent can cost you your voice and authenticity. Career risk. Changing careers, starting something new, or even asking for promotion. These are all risks we take in the working world. The fear of rejection or failure can be strong, but regret is often stronger. Health risk. Pushing yourself physically, trying a new workout, or choosing a lifestyle that's different from your past. It's about challenging your limits for the sake of better living. Why does society encourage us to avoid risk? From childhood, many of us are taught to play it safe. Don't talk to strangers. Don't climb too high. Don't dream too big. Just get a stable job. We grow up believing that safety is the ultimate goal in life. But sometimes, safety becomes a cage. A very comfortable, very familiar cage. Society loves certainty. It loves routine. It praises those who follow the rules, even if they're miserable inside. But history, innovation, art, freedom, they've all come from people who stepped outside of the box. People who were willing to risk something. It's not that playing it safe is wrong. It's just not the only way to live. What we need to unlearn is the fear of failing, because failure is not the enemy, inaction is. Playing it safe might protect you from pain, but it also keeps you from purpose. Risk is the cost of growth. It's the doorway to reward. It's the uncomfortable stretch that leads to strength. And the truth is, you've been taking risks your whole life, maybe without even noticing. Walking, loving, trusting, dreaming. Those are all acts of courage. Why people fear risk? Fear of failure is one of the most natural human fears. It's not just about failing. It's about how we feel when we fail. Society often teaches us that success equals worth and failure equals shame. But here's the thing. Failure is a reflection of your worth as a person. It's a stepping stone to success. Why do we fear failure so much? We worry that others will see our mistakes, and the thought of people judging us feels overwhelming. We want to be seen as competent, strong, and capable. So, failing can feel like we're exposing ourselves as inadequate or not good enough. The most painful part of failure is often how we judge ourselves. We think, I'm not cut out for this, or I should have known better. This can stop us before we even try. But here's an important truth to remember. Failure is not the end. It's feedback. It's an opportunity to learn, grow, and try again with more experience and knowledge. Think of anyone you admire, whether in business, sports, or even in your personal life. They didn't get there without experiencing failure. Failure doesn't define you, it teaches you. So, next time you're afraid of failing, remember, every successful person has failed first. The difference? They kept going. Fear of judgment from others. What will people think of me? What if they judge me for being too ambitious, or even worse, for being a failure? We live in a world where it's easy to get caught up in how others perceive us. Our social circles, work environments, and even strangers on the internet can influence our thoughts. Not everyone will understand your journey, and that's okay. What matters is your growth, not other people's perceptions. If you let the judgment of others control your actions, you'll never be free to take the risks that lead to the rewards you desire. Remember, every successful person has faced judgment. The key is not to let it stop you from chasing your dreams. You'll never please everyone, and that's perfectly fine. Focus on the people who believe in you and the progress you're making. This fear is deeply rooted in our need for security and stability. We work hard for what we have, and the thought of losing can feel like a huge risk. Our homes, jobs, relationships, and financial stability all feel like things we can't afford to lose. Taking a risk often means stepping into the unknown, and that can feel unsettling. We don't know if we'll lose what we've built, and we fear that the effort to build it back again will be too much. As humans, we seek safety. We want to protect the things we've worked for, whether it's our career, lifestyle, or relationships. Risks can feel like an unpredictable force that might shake everything up, which can be terrifying. Losing something you value, whether it's a stable job or a relationship, can feel like a deep personal failure. The pain of loss can be much greater than the potential reward that might come from taking the risk. But here's something important to understand. Staying stuck in the same place out of fear is also a risk. The world is always changing, and if we hold on too tightly to what we have, we may miss out on opportunities that could lead to something better. Think about it this way. Every time we stay in our comfort zone out of fear of losing, we are essentially sacrificing our potential for something more. Taking risks, when done wisely, can lead to even greater stability and reward in the long term. Yes, there's a possibility of loss, but there's also a chance for growth, learning, and a future that's more fulfilling. If I'm not taking risks, am I really living or am I just existing? Comfort zones feel, well, comfortable. We stick to what we know because it's easy, familiar, and predictable. It feels like we're in control. But over time, staying within our comfort zone can be the very thing that limits us. The unknown is intimidating. It challenges everything we've known and makes us question our ability to succeed. But growth happens outside of the comfort zone. We like feeling comfortable. Taking risks often means feeling nervous, anxious, or uncertain. And who wants to feel uncomfortable? But the reality is, growth requires discomfort. You have to stretch yourself to become better. It's easy to think that staying where we are means we're safe, but in reality, we're just not growing. Staying stagnant feels like security, but it eventually limits us from achieving bigger dreams and goals. Here's the truth. Your comfort zone is a slow killer of your potential. It doesn't necessarily look dangerous on the outside, but it stops you from reaching the heights you're capable of. Every dream you've ever had requires you to step outside your comfort zone. No one who has ever achieved something extraordinary stayed comfortable while doing it. The risk is a reward, and every small step you take outside your comfort zone brings you closer to something bigger. In the end, fear is natural. It's part of the human experience, but it doesn't have to control your actions. Understanding why we fear risk, whether it's fear of failure, judgment, losing what we have, or staying in our comfort zone, can help us break through those barriers. By acknowledging these fears and pushing through them, we give ourselves permission to grow, to take chances, and to ultimately reap the rewards that are waiting for us. We all know the feeling of wanting to stay in a safe place, to avoid uncomfortable situations, and to keep things as they are. But what happens if we never take risks? What happens when we let fear or uncertainty keep us from stepping outside our comfort zones? Let's break it down. It's easy to fall into the trap of comfort. We all like stability, whether it's staying in a job we don't love because it pays the bills, or maintaining relationships that don't challenge us. Comfort feels safe, But the longer you stay in this safe space, the more you start to feel stuck, stagnant. It's like a plant that's given just enough water to survive, but not enough to thrive. Without new experiences, you stop evolving. Growth, whether mental, emotional, or even spiritual, doesn't come from living the same day over and over. It comes when you push yourself to try new things, to face fears, and to challenge your own limits. Mentally, you grow when you explore new ideas, question your beliefs, and embrace the unknown. Emotionally, you grow when you allow yourself to feel things deeply, when you risk vulnerability, and when you face the challenges that life throws at you. But if you never take risks, you stop growing. You might feel comfortable, but you'll also feel unfulfilled. You'll look around one day and realize that the person you are today is the same person you were years ago. Change doesn't happen without risk. You have to take steps forward, even when you're not sure of the outcome. That's the price of growth. Without risks, you may find yourself asking, why does life feel like it's just passing me by? Opportunities, whether they're related to your career, personal life, or even a chance to learn something new, rarely stay around forever. They come and they go. When you're too afraid to take the risk and seize them, you risk watching them slip away. Think about a job you didn't apply for because you thought you weren't ready, or an opportunity to travel, make new friends, or start a business that you hesitated on because you feared failure. These moments don't always come back, and once they pass, they're gone. One of the biggest regrets people have when they look back at their lives is not taking a chance when they had the chance. People often ask themselves, what if I'd said yes? What if I'd taken that leap? What if I'd just tried? The thing is, not every opportunity will knock twice. Some doors close for good once they've opened, and you can't always count on life to hand you the same chance again. Life is about seizing opportunities when they present themselves, even if they come with uncertainty or discomfort. When you play it safe, you may avoid temporary discomfort, but in the long run, you'll end up facing the permanent discomfort of missed chances. Staying comfortable often means you're missing out on experiences that could shape who you are and who you could become. Every missed opportunity is a potential version of yourself that never comes to life. Think about the people who regret not taking a risk, whether it's a career change, moving to a new city, or pursuing a passion. Many of them live with the pain of knowing they could have done something, but didn't. Playing it safe feels good in the moment, but the cost shows up later. When you play it safe, you are essentially trading in long-term fulfillment for short-term comfort. You avoid the stress of failure or uncertainty, but over time, that avoidance builds up, and so does your regret. Playing it safe means you're not reaching your full potential. And as you get older, you realize that you've lived a life based on what you didn't do rather than what you did. After a while, you'll notice that those around you are advancing. They're pursuing dreams, getting promotions, building relationships, and evolving. Meanwhile, you might feel like you're stuck in place, and that can be painful. The longer you avoid risks, the more you build up this what could have been mentality. You start comparing yourself to others who took risks and wonder why you didn't do the same. This internal conflict can lead to feelings of resentment toward yourself, and possibly even others who've taken the leap you were too afraid to take. When you don't take risks, your life becomes repetitive. You wake up, go to work, come home, repeat. The excitement and energy of trying something new is missing. Over time, this lack of fresh experiences can make life feel monotonous, and you may even struggle to remember the last time you felt truly alive. Your world becomes smaller as you avoid change, and before you know it, you're stuck in a cycle of same old, same old. The ultimate cost of playing it safe is a life filled with what-ifs and missed potential. You may have avoided risk, but you'll also have avoided a chance at a more fulfilling, exciting life. Eventually, you'll realize that avoiding risk isn't worth the price you paid in missed opportunities and personal growth. Playing it safe isn't always the best path. In fact, the longer you play it safe, the more you lose. You lose out on personal growth, the excitement of new opportunities, and the chance to live a full, rewarding life. While taking risks is scary, the real danger lies in staying stagnant, letting life pass you by, and regretting the things you didn't do. Life is a series of risks, both big and small. Some of them will lead to failure, but that's how we learn, grow, and ultimately succeed. The risks we take today determine the rewards we'll see tomorrow. So ask yourself, What's the cost of not taking a risk today? And will that cost be worth it in the long run? Let's begin with a man whose name now stands for innovation, Elon Musk. But before the world celebrated him for Tesla and SpaceX, Elon was nearly broke and broken. After selling PayPal, Elon made hundreds of millions. Most people would have saved it, invested it safely, and never worked again. But not Elon. He poured every cent, and we mean every single cent, into Tesla, SpaceX, and Solar City. He slept on friends' couches, worked 20-hour days, and faced public failure when his rockets kept crashing. People mocked him. Experts predicted his companies would collapse. His last rocket launch was literally his final chance. He had no money for a fifth, and then it worked. The rocket flew. Investors called back. The doors reopened. Elon's reward wasn't just money. It was a realization of a vision that changed how we see space and transportation. But none of that happened without tremendous risk. Would you risk your last dollar on your dream? If you truly believed in something, would you bet your comfort to make it real? Now let's talk about someone who changed media forever. Oprah Winfrey. Her journey wasn't glamorous. She was born into poverty in Mississippi, faced abuse in her early years, and was told she'd never succeed on TV, that she was too emotional, too black, and too female. She was even fired from her job as a news anchor because they didn't think she was fit for television. But Oprah took that rejection and used it as fuel. Instead of fitting in, she created a space where people could feel. Her show, The Oprah Winfrey Show, wasn't just a talk show. It was a healing space for millions. And it became one of the most successful shows in history. Oprah didn't play it safe. She didn't hide her pain or pretend to be someone else. She risked being her full self, and that honesty changed the world. It's easy to look at Elon and Oprah and think, well, they're special. But let's bring it closer to home. Real people like you and me. Think of that woman who sold her jewelry to start a small kitchen. Everyone told her she was being foolish, but she believed in her cooking. She risked it. Today, that kitchen employs 12 people. Or that man who left his village, sold his belongings, and took a one-way bus to a city where he knew no one, just for a chance to work. He struggled, slept in parks, took odd jobs. But now, he owns a business, sends money home, and speaks with pride. Or maybe it's a young mother who packed her bags and walked away from a violent marriage. No money, just courage. People shamed her. But today, she's raising her kids in peace, working 2 jobs, and sleeping with a clean heart. You don't need to be famous to be brave. Every big change starts with small, scary decision. What risk are you putting off because it's inconvenient, uncomfortable, or unpredictable? Taking risks doesn't mean acting without thinking. It means trusting your growth more than your fear. Whether you're launching rockets, starting over, or walking away, every brave choice you make is a seed for reward. Not every risk is worth taking. Some risks grow you, others break you. The difference? Wisdom. Let's be honest, when people hear no risk, no reward, some take it as a license to do wild things without thinking. But that's not bravery. That's recklessness. And the truth is, there's a fine line between taking a smart risk and walking blindly into regret. Just because it sounds daring doesn't mean it's the right move. Quitting your job overnight with no savings, no plan, and no backup just because someone online said, follow your dreams. That's not a smart risk. But creating a 6-month savings plan, researching your next step, and then leaving with clarity, that's calculated. Does this decision move me closer to my goal? Or am I just acting out of impulse, ego, or pressure? Being bold doesn't mean being careless. It means being intentional. Not to scare yourself, but to face reality. Most of our fears are bigger in our heads than in real life. So get honest. Will I lose money? Will I embarrass myself? Will I damage relationships? Will I still be okay if things don't go as planned? This is key. Even if things go wrong, will you be able to recover? If the answer is yes, you've got strength. If the answer is no, then maybe it's not the right time yet. This mindset doesn't mean avoiding risk. It means understanding the terrain before you climb the mountain. A calculated risk isn't free from fear. It's just fear with a plan. Here's what separates smart risk takers from reckless gamblers. Planning. Don't just act on emotion. Map it out. Ask people who've done it before. Know the steps you'll take, whether it succeeds or fails. Timing. The right decision at the wrong time is still the wrong decision. Wait for the moment when your heart is ready and your resources are aligned. Don't rush just to prove something. Knowledge. Learn before you leap. Read books, watch interviews, take courses, talk to mentors. The more you know, the less you rely on luck, and the more you increase your chances of winning. Taking risks doesn't mean living in chaos. It means betting on your growth with wisdom, humility, and preparation. Don't envy people who move fast. Admire those who move with clarity. Every time you experience something pleasant, like praise, success, or even eating your favorite meal, your brain releases a chemical called dopamine. Dopamine is often called a feel-good hormone, but it's more than that. It's actually your brain's way of encouraging behavior that it sees as beneficial. Imagine your brain as a quiet coach, constantly watching your decisions. And every time you do something that moves you forward, solve a problem, face a fear, or take a meaningful action, it gives you a little reward, that warm feeling of satisfaction. That's dopamine at work. This reward system was built into us for survival. In the early days of human life, we needed motivation to find food, build shelter, or protect ourselves. So when our ancestors took risks, like hunting wild animals or exploring new territories, the reward helped them feel it was worth it. Today, though we live in a very different world, the brain still works the same way. It rewards boldness, learning, and persistence, even when the results aren't immediate. Now let's talk about the thrill, that deep internal joy you feel when you beat the odds. Have you noticed how doing something hard, something you weren't sure you could even pull off, feels 10 times more rewarding than doing something easy? That's no accident. When you push through fear, doubt, or uncertainty and succeed, your brain releases more dopamine than usual. Why? Because your brain recognizes that you just leveled up. You grew. You learned. You risked discomfort, and it paid off. That's a big deal for your mind and body. And that thrill, that sense of pride and surprise, that's your brain saying, well done, do that again. That's why some people love challenges. It's not that they enjoy pain or struggle. It's that they've tasted the high of succeeding against the odds. And that high becomes a healthy kind of addiction to growth. Let's break this part down gently. Imagine two people. One is handed a trophy. The other earns a trophy after months of sleepless nights, rejection, and setbacks. They both have the same trophy, but the second person values it more deeply. Why? Because effort adds meaning, struggle adds depth, and risk adds weight to reward. When you work for something, especially when you could have failed, the win feels personal. It's not just a result, it's a story, a memory, a lesson. You didn't just get something, you became someone in the process. This is why people who fought their way out of poverty, started from scratch, or risen from failure often speak with so much passion. Their success isn't luck. It's layered with sacrifice, resilience, and risk. In the end, it's not just about the reward itself. It's about who you had to become to earn it. If you're scared to take a risk, remember this. The deeper the valley, the more breathtaking the view from the top. And when you get there, you'll know it was worth it, not because of the reward, but because of the person you became. Most people think risk means jumping off a cliff, but what if it simply meant opening a door you were once afraid to knock on? Taking risks doesn't always mean betting your entire life savings or making wild decisions overnight. Often, the most powerful risks are the small, intentional ones we take every day. Here's how to do that in a way that makes sense and feels less overwhelming. One of the biggest reasons people avoid risk is that they imagine it as too big, too fast. But every mountain is climbed one step at a time. Example, want to start a business? You don't need to quit your job today. Start with market research. Then maybe test your idea with friends or on a small online platform. Each step carries a bit of risk, but it's manageable. Why this works? Breaking goals into small parts removes the paralysis of all or nothing. You gain confidence with each small win. You start to realize, I can do this. Ask yourself, what is the tiniest risk I can take today that still moves me forward? The truth is, Courage is contagious. If you're always around people who play it safe, you will too. But when you're around people who try, who fail, who dream big, you start believing it's possible for you too. Join a group of entrepreneurs, creatives, or learners online or in person. Watch content from people who overcame fear. Even virtual role models count. Psychologists call this social modeling. When we see others take healthy risks and survive, even thrive, we learn by observing. Ask yourself this: who in my life is making bold moves? How can I learn from them or spend more time near their energy? Failure is not the enemy. Not learning from it is. Every successful person has a trail of mistakes behind them. What made them different is that they used those failures as teachers. You will stumble. You will feel doubt. That's part of it. But each failure contains a lesson you can't learn in a textbook. Instead of "I failed, try, I found one more way that didn't work." After every setback, ask yourself, what is this trying to teach me? What failure in my past actually helped shape who I am today? Sometimes the best reward is simply knowing you tried. The problem: we've been taught to only celebrate success, money, status, wins. But this mindset kills growth. Because most of life is the middle part, not the finish line. The solution: start giving yourself credit for showing up, for trying, for risking discomfort. This builds confidence over time. You applied for a job and didn't get it, but you updated your resume, practiced your pitch, and stepped out of your comfort zone. That matters. You don't need to leap, you just need to lean. Strategic risk is about leaning gently into growth. Start small. Be kind to yourself. Surround yourself with those who believe. Learn from every step. And always celebrate the fact that you're still in the game. We've all had moments, tiny moments, when life handed us a door. And instead of walking through it, we paused. We hesitated. We told ourselves, maybe later. But later never came. And now, when you look back, there's a sting in your chest. Not from the things you did, but from the things you didn't do. Those chances you never took. That one leap of faith you were too scared to jump into. Let's be honest, comfort zones feel good. They're warm, familiar, safe. You know what to expect. You rarely get surprised, and you almost never get hurt. But here's the thing: nothing extraordinary ever grows in the comfort zone. Comfort zones might protect you from pain, but they also protect you from progress. Every major breakthrough you admire, every inspiring story you've ever heard, came from a person who left the safety of what they knew and stepped into the unknown. Think about your favorite actor, your favorite athlete, your mentor. They all started with a decision, not a guarantee, not a clear path, just a decision to try, to risk being laughed at, to risk failing in front of people they loved, to risk losing money, time, comfort, even their own confidence. But they chose to believe that maybe, just maybe it could work. That's what courage looks like. It's not about having no fear. It's about doing it despite the fear. But let's be real, risk is scary. So why do we take it? That's a fair question. Because truthfully, no one wants to fail. No one wants to feel stupid or disappointed. Risk exposes you. It makes you vulnerable. It brings up all your doubts. What if I'm not good enough? What if I lose everything? What will people say? But ask yourself something deeper. What's the cost of not trying? What do you lose when you choose fear over faith? Are you really safe or just stuck? Because whether you try and fail or don't try at all, either way, time still moves. Life still happens. And the window of opportunity slowly closes. Because growth lives on the other side of risk. Because regret is heavier than failure. Because one yes can rewrite your whole story. At the end of the day, playing it safe might keep you comfortable, but it'll never take you far. So if there's something you truly want, take the leap. Because in this life, the biggest rewards come to those who dare to risk it all. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if this hit home. See you in the next one. Stay bold.